Annie is Marley's Mikasa, in all honesty. That's the closest they're going to get to her.
Like, she had, and this just goes back to my fact with character development. She had more character development than Mikasa. Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap, food, rhyme, got them on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Fook, joined by my co-host, Ryan. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you Jaegerists are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, share the video with a friend, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
All right. As Ryan has alluded to, we are here to give our hearts one last time as we do a mob review on Attack on Titan Season 4, as well as doing a mob reflection on the Attack on Titan series. I meant to look this up before we got in here. I know Attack on Titan started in 2013. Do we know the exact date? We don't know the exact date. Let's go see.
No, but I do remember when it first aired because I did not like it at first.
It came out September 28th, 2013, and it just ended 10 years later on November 4th, 2023. It's been a long 10 years. I do have to give you your props, Ryan. For y'all who don't know, Ryan is the one that convinced me to start watching anime, which then led me to Attack on Titan. So,
did I recommend Attack on Titan to you?
I don't know who recommended Attack on Titan to me, but I didn't want to watch it because the way that the Titans run, and I was like, y'all got me so fucked up right now. But I sat down and I got into it, and now I haven't watched a lot of animes. You know, I'm not a seasoned anime watcher.
Not a season. I'm still a novice.
You know, I watch a few, but Attack on Titan is definitely in my top 5. So I just had to give you your props right quick. But how you doing today?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. You know what I always F up at? You know, you ever heard? You know the phrase, after your vacation, you need a break after your vacation.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. After my vacation, I started new training for a cert. I got work. I got the podcast. I got grad school, got assignments due. And I'm just saying here, like, why the hell y'all all up on my back right now? Like, why ain't I got time to rest?
I just got home.
Bro, how I get home and I'm waking up at 8 a.m. and working till 5. And then we got to come and do this at 7.
I honestly feel like that's just the life as an adult. Like, you, at the most, you might get one day to yourself to, like, you know, chill out, get your mind in the right headspace. But then sometimes, you know, you just gotta wake up and keep it pushing.
It's crazy though. But the weekend was dope. I know you saw the videos. You was laughing at me. To the audience out there, if y'all ever get the chance to slide through Texas, go to the Texas Renaissance Festival. It's the biggest Renaissance fair in the entire U.S. It's amazing. It's my second fair. I went to Scarborough first, but this was amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Nah, I saw the videos. It looked pretty dope. While you were enjoying your vacation, I was enjoying the life as a grad student and dedicated myself to doing homework this weekend. I mean, it paid off because now I'm not stressing out. You know, I got class tomorrow, so I'm not stressing myself out trying to get everything done. So it paid its dividends, but I'm looking forward to the day where my Saturdays are just for me.
That's never going to happen, big dog. We got this. But
I like doing this, though.
Okay.
I like doing this. It's different waking up and doing something that you want to do instead of me waking up and saying, man, I gotta bust out this goddamn homework.
Well, to a degree, you wanted to do grad school and you ain't gotta do it. You got a job. You got work experience.
You may have points.
I'm just saying.
But I'm already in the thick of it. And if I want to pass this class without being put on academic probation. I'm gonna have to get up and do it. I've already committed.
If you dropped out right now, won't nobody be mad? Nobody. Folks gonna look at your bill still paid. Yup. You still can put food in your stomach and shoes on your feet. Yup.
I got 3 classes left. I think maybe if that was the thought process when I first started, then no harm, no harm, no foul.
Let me get out of here while I can.
I tried it. I ain't like it. I got 3 more semesters left, so I might as well just tough it out.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I hate school or whatever. It don't nobody like doing homework.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Don't nobody like waking up on Saturdays talking about I gotta do homework. Like, don't nobody like that.
Look, bro, before I went out for the weekend, I had to take an exam and do my portion of a group assignment right before leaving. I said, I don't want these folks messaging me. Shout out to the group if y'all happen to find this podcast. I was like, look, I don't want none of y'all texting me. I'm going on vacation. I did my part and I took my exam.
Now, that's one thing I do like about grad school. Them folks respect the fact that you got a job, that you finna go on vacation. Because the thing about grad school is that everybody is kind of living the same life. Like, everybody's like, hey, I'm taking this class, but I work full-time here. Or, they go on vacations. They got lives. Like, undergrad, it was a bit of a mix. Because, like, when we were in the undergrad, for, like, a good portion, we ain't had no job. But then,
care.
Right, but then we had classes with people who had a job, who had, responsibilities that we got. So, we not on the same level. So when it came down to like projects and stuff like that, it's like we not sharing the same experience. But these grad folks,
we all in the same boat.
It's the same. It's the same. Somebody may have a kid or two, but everybody got a job. Everybody finna go on vacation. Like, it's smooth.
Bro, I remember on our team introductions, we was like, all right, y'all, let's do the instructions. Say, let's introduce ourselves. And one of the questions was like, why are you in this program? And everybody was like, to make more money. And I was like, yeah, make more money.
Hey, that's what we about. For real. Especially for like grad, like a master's program. Like, if you have a full-time job, what would be the reason?
Why are you here? For fun?
Like, I've met a person that was just like, I like learning. Or whatever.
One singular person.
I'm dead serious. I've met one singular person that said they just like, learning new stuff. And if you like learning new stuff and you have the opportunity to get your stuff paid for, or you have the opportunity, to not do no loans and stuff like that, do it.
More power to you.
Learn. Do what you gotta do. I'm just trying to get done with it.
After this MBA, bro, I'm only getting certifications. Don't try to put no other types of slips of paper in my email. I don't want it.
I'm not doing no PhD. I'm not doing another master's program. Like, honestly, I might just sit down somewhere. I got my master's. It look real cute. And we gonna sit down
somewhere. You gonna hang it up on the wall a little bit? Gonna put it in a frame?
Hang it up on the wall. I work for this. I'm be like, y'all see this?
Y'all see that? Educated.
I work for this. But nah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, as always, our mob reviews are spoiler filled. So if you have not seen the final episode to Attack on Titan season 4, or if you have not seen Attack on Titan up to the end, I would recommend pausing the video, like it, subscribe to the page, go finish Attack on Titan, then come back.
Leave a comment saying I had to pause it, y'all, but I know this is going to be good, and come give us another comment because we need that engagement.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
So, take a pause, go finish Attack on Titan, come back, and enjoy the discussion. But let's hop right on in, Ron. As always, I want to start overall, and we're going to work our way into the depths of Attack on Titan. So, let's talk about it. How did you feel about the season overall? How did you feel about the ending? And would you consider this a satisfying ending to the 10-year franchise?
It was positive. I went in with low expectations because of the manga readers. I think we all did, because the second the manga ended, that's all the manga readers talked about. And they brought it up the second the final chords and all that were announced. I felt like it was fulfilling. I've seen bad endings in manga and anime. I've seen pretty good endings. I've seen amazing endings. I think Demon Slayer has one of the best endings. I've seen really good endings. This was satisfying. I feel like it was a good close. I feel like majority of the stories, I don't think I recognized any plot holes or stories that weren't closed properly. I feel like it was a really satisfying ending. I don't think anybody would hate this.
I definitely agree. I saw like the manga readers saying that like the ending was horrible, and like I still hear it like now that Attack on Titan is the big buzz. But I agree, it was solid. It was satisfying. They closed it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely seen bad endings, not necessarily like anime, but just like in the like media period. That some endings to a franchise, they leave off so many questions, or it's kind of like, why did you guys do it this way? Or what about this? Or what about that? But I think Attack on Titan officially closed off everyone's story by the time that we got to the end of this
Mm-hmm.
episode. And at this point, you can make up theories, but it's not really. When I finished watching it, I didn't find myself asking, okay, then what happened to who? What happened to this person? What happened to that person?
Yeah.
What happened with this situation? Like they wrapped that up with a bow and shipped that out. And I think that's the best thing that we could get from anime, especially one that's been going on for like 10 years. Like the worst thing you could do was end this franchise and have everybody with like all these questions and these plot holes and things don't that make sense, and you guys been milking this out for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Even the love interest stuff was closed out pretty decently well.
We gonna get it.
Decently. Decently. I said
I
decently. I
I
didn't say greatly.
I'll agree with decent, but the way that we got there,
A little rough.
it rough, but also like I don't know what it is with like them trying to write romance in Attack on Titan.
This is not an Attack on Titan issue. That is a shonen issue.
Okay.
That is a shonen battle action geared towards teenage boys issue.
Well, I honestly, maybe a controversial opinion, I could have went without the Eren Mikasa type thing in Attack on Titan. For the fact that it really didn't start to hit home until the 3rd season, but really driving it home in the 4th season, I could have went without it. I think the emotional value still would have been there with Mikasa having to be the one to kill Eren, even without the romantic bits being involved.
I feel like I don't disagree. I feel like even if they gave him the brother-sister style of relationship and love and admiration for each other, everything would have hit just as hard, and it probably would have been better executed.
Because the foundations are already there. Like they already have this close bond from growing up together. They're in the scout regiment together. They went through all of these traumatic events together. Like the bond is there. The relationship is there. I really don't think the romantic piece of it really needed to be in there for you guys to drive that home, that is crushing both of them to be in this situation, that Eren has to be the villain and push his friends away so they can be seen as the heroes at the end of this, and for Mikasa to come to terms with the fact that she got to kill her boy. Like I think it still would have been there.
And the issue of writing romance, we ain't even seen them like flirt for real or show like any sexual tension. Armin and Annie had more romantic tension.
Talk about it.
And she was frozen for 3 seasons.
And she was in a crystal for 3 seasons. My thing is giving Naruto and Hinata. Eren didn't pay that girl no mind until we got to the Naruto movie. And now it's, I need to, go hard.
At least Hinata reacted with romance towards him, though. It was one-sided and badly written, but at least she reacted towards him. Mikasa, you could, like, her love, if you said, this is like his best friend and they grew up since childhood, you wouldn't complain and think that they had, and you would accept that.
My thing about Mikasa is that the best way I can compare Mikasa is she's kind of like the John Wick of this series. John Wick is very like headstrong on his mission, and like his whole thing is like, let's just go John Wick 4. His whole thing is like, get me out this contract. I want to stop fighting. Get me out this thing. Mikasa's two things was be a scout and protect Eren. And that was her whole personality. Them two things was her whole personality. And we really don't see a change in Mikasa's like character until those things start falling apart, where the scout regiment is not the scout regiment anymore. It's split up into the Jaegerists and whatever they had going on. If you want to call them the rebellion or whatever going on the side, and then Eren just going batshit crazy. Like, that's the only time we actually get to see some emotion come out of her that's outside of those two things. And I just
romance and shonen sucks in general, though, bro. Like you're you're watching a good amount of anime and you're noticing the trends. Some of the best romance is probably going to be found in anime like Fairy Tail, and that's not even that well written. If we're being some of them are well written. I'm lying. Some of them are well written.
Fairy Tail got some well written relationships.
Some of them are well written. I'm talking out my ass.
I'm talking the ones dedicated to their main characters are ass. Now everybody else,
yeah. Like for example, Levi and Jill in Fairy Tail is probably some of the best romance you're going to see in all of shonen manga and anime. I'm just being honest. Bleach did a decent job with Ichigo and Orihime, but that's not in the anime, it's only in the manga. So it's like, you're going to miss out on like that with a lot of franchises.
The only reason I brought that up because I'm seeing a lot of like takes on Twitter about how this, this is so sad and look at this Eren Mikasa content. And I was like, y'all have to be for real right now. Like, this wasn't hidden. Like, for the longest, I thought that Mikasa just saw him as a brother, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna protect my brother to the end. Like, it felt very sister-brother relationship all the way up until like season 4.
So I'm gonna say this. You got it. And I don't want us to go on a tangent, but I have strong female friendships with you and someone else off the pod we can't just say folks' names. Not enough franchises and in entertainment are good at writing platonic relationships with opposite sex people, if we're being honest.
I'll give you that.
Or rather, they don't try to emphasize it in that way without throwing romance in there, if that makes sense.
I'll give you that, because I can think of
that's
a couple.
Even outside of anime.
I can think of a couple where it's like they're good friends now, but the beginning was like, I had a crush on you and you turned me down, and through that we have become real close friends, and now these years later we can laugh at it like, haha, you remember you had a crush on me? So I feel
maybe it's just unrealistic to Hollywood and Japan's version of Hollywood for folks to be homies. Maybe it's just unrealistic.
I honestly feel like Attack on Titan could have went without it. I think if they kept, or if they went the real strong platonic brother-sister relationship with Eren and Mikasa, that ending still would have hit as hard. It probably would have hit harder because it's like, I understand like the turmoil that you're going through, but it feels weird to me given the fact that y'all have not shown any romantic interest in each other until this season.
If anything, like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't rewatch all of Attack on Titan before this movie, but if you look at what led up to this, Eren was a nutcase, wild ass kid. Mikasa looked out for him because she cared and he was nice to her. And then jumped to a certain point and he basically says, F you. We do a time skip and he says, F you. Now, I understand y'all were friends, trauma, struggle, Titan, big raw monsters chasing after y'all, but like, y'all never like even did the cliche, or our hands touch and I blush. Like, girl,
right.
you sniffed his crusty scarf. That's about it. Oh my God.
The most I said this on Twitter and I'll say it again and I'll say this until I die. The most character development that Mikasa has gotten in Attack on Titan is taking off that crusted ass scarf.
Just for her to not.
Just for her to put it back on.
And a bird trying to take.
It gave very Jaime Lannister Game of Thrones season 8. Like, you did all this to finally leave Cersei. You did all this to finally take off this scarf just to go back.
Like, and honestly, the fact that the only other romance that really kind of showed his light was Armin and Annie, they could have just stuck it to that. Like, yeah, let the little soft dude win, let the traumatized girl, let them match up, make it work. We can roll with that. That's okay. But Mikasa kissing a cut off man's head,
Hey,
and listen,
like,
bro,
you
it ain't
couldn't
do it.
kiss him before then.
You can like walk in and he look at you, and then you can you gotta cut his head, blood
honestly,
dripping down your hand. You said,
I honestly,
with a skull. Come on, bro.
I honestly feel like, because he was gonna let you do it regardless. Like, there was no rush. Like, Aaron's whole point, and he said this in the episode before the last one. He was like, if y'all want to stop me, you guys are going to have to come and stop me. Like, I want you to come and stop me. So y'all weren't in no rush. At this point, the rumbling has stopped. Levi killed Zeke, and the Colossal Titans have stopped. You weren't in no rush. So if you wanted to get some smoochies in, why you just didn't kiss that man, then cut his head off?
Levi is still
Levi
one
to
of the
go.
realest
Levi to go.
realest anime characters out there. He did not think about it. That man had one vendetta. One goal.
Levi said, why does this final order give me so much trouble? Now, that's one. There's a lot of characters in Attack on Titan Season 4 that stood on business, and Levi Ackerman is one of them.
Business.
Levi said, I'm going to get you, Zeke, from him blowing up that cart. He done got Zeke a couple times.
Real close to it.
But just couldn't, get the finishing blow. But he made sure, he was like, my leg busted up. I don't know if I'm be able to get him for real. He got him though.
He hit that little spin move. He hit his iconic whoop. Like, bro, Zeke came out. I didn't want to see you though. And Levi, no thinking. No thinking.
He said, Falco, bring the bird around. Did
the bird even turn around? Or did he just jump? Like he just a fit.
That shot, the lighting. Let's come back to the characters. Let's talk about MAPPA. There were so many times where I paused the last episode and I was like, that's the shot. Because of the way that they did the colors, the animation, the angles. We always talk about MAPPA when it comes to JJK as far as the angles, but like to maneuver through something as chaotic as this last season of Attack on Titan
these fighting scenes.
That was like, the ODM gear itself is challenging to animate because it's that 3-dimensional. I can move this way, this way, this way, this way. But
they spin around, rotating under obstacles, everything.
Hello. So to take that element itself, throw us on top of the founding Titan, having to fight generations on generations of the 9 Titans, and like maneuver through the rumbling at the same time, like. MAPPA did a damn good job. As far as Attack on Titan goes, they did their big one with this last episode.
Look, MAPPA, if y'all ever discover this episode, look, bro, I know y'all struggling. We praying for y'all. We sending out good vibes, good energies, rubbing the stones, whatever your belief system, bro. We wish the best for y'all, but y'all doing some damn good work.
Yeah, you doing some damn good work.
Yeah, like
that angle.
I don't support corporate, but what they doing to y'all, I see why they do it. I understand.
Not you see why they do it.
Me saying I understand don't mean I agree. I just understand.
No comment.
No
comment. Freedom Boys at MAPPA.
Who holding a candle to these MAPPA animators, bro, right now?
You right, though.
Ufotable God Demon Slayer, can they do it 3 times over during the same anime season?
I don't know. Because Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise, JJK at the moment has been insane. And Attack on Titan. And didn't they do something else? Didn't they do a 5th one?
They ain't do Bleach. Someone else did Bleach. I forgot who's doing now.
It wasn't Vinland Saga. They didn't do Vinland Saga, did they?
I think it was Vinland Saga.
They did Vinland Saga too?
I think it's Vinland Saga.
Look, I would just say hats off to MAPPA. I want y'all boys to take a break because this past anime season, y'all boys been going hard.
Yeah, Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan were originally with WIT Studios, and they moved to MAPPA. MAPPA took 2 shows from WIT.
Look, I don't think that this last season would have looked the same with WIT Studios doing it. Like the angles that they pulled off, like the chaos, the way that everybody like the intensity. Let's just talk about the intensity of the characters. The way Mikasa looked like a damn demon, and not like in the ugly way, but like when Mikasa was about to turn up, like you could physically see the intensity in her face that she is about to turn up.
Her, Levi, the sadness portrayed on Armin's face, everything was there.
It was
Reiner's anger and bloodlust to just do better. His resolve, you could see it all.
It was just I think they did their big one with this whole season. Like the emotions that had to be executed, the scenes that had to be executed, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. And I wanted to bring up the final scene. Well, not the final scene, but basically where Levi and Mikasa basically make the break to go get Eren. And it's that scene where it's Levi diving down and then he lands on something or a Titan or something, and then you remember they switched the angle, so now you see him sliding down. Then he jumped off. They switched the angle again to him throwing that rocket. Then he threw it again, and then you had that one moment of like color change with the explosion. I was like, God damn.
They did a good job, bro.
And the span, and that wasn't even like 30 seconds.
Like, bro, like they're literally swinging on like ribs and everything, and to keep up with all of that, like just drawing these frames, like having to remember how the human body's supposed to revolve around a bone, how the gas like from the ODM gear is supposed to push them forward. It was great, bro. Exactly. And it looked like it made sense. Like you didn't get lost while watching it either, which is my issue with one anime and how they did their animation, but I ain't finna shit on them right now. But you didn't get lost with it. You know what I mean? It felt good.
I think the thing, because we've made this compliment with JJK, the way that they do the landscaping, because the way that they animated this fight on the Founding Titan, they visually showed you like this landscape is huge. They could have easily like condensed it, and now everything's chaotic and you really can't follow where everybody's going because everybody's in this one place. But the way that they spaced it out, kind of like, I just said it, like landscaped it out where everything's pretty much spaced out, gave room for like, okay, we can put a thing right here, and then a couple yards off we can put a thing right here, and you could visually see like everything that's going on.
And we still got the necessary close-ups that added to it all as well.
Exactly. Like you're getting shots with like 9 Titans in it, and you can still follow what's going on. Like that scene where Reiner's fighting all of those Warhammer Titans. And you could still, like, you could just, like, you don't really have to, like, struggle to comprehend, like, him fighting all these, where it's just happening. Like, you just see it, and it's just happening.
Choreography was great. Was great. I just saw some folks arguing about JJK versus Naruto. Like, all of them got great choreography. But Attack on Titan, it was Demon Slayer and Naruto. But Attack on Titan, this choreography for what they had to, like, animate and had to put in here, it looked good.
Because I know in the manga it's chaotic. I know it's chaotic. I know some of y'all had to look at these manga panels for a good 30 to 60 seconds before y'all moved on to the next one.
Had to go to the next panel, be like, how do we get here and go back to the previous page?
Somebody did something, and now you got to go backwards to see, wait a minute, how did we get here?
Look, it was dope, bro. MAPPA, y'all doing magic, bro. Y'all doing magic.
It's honestly, truly, Freedom Boys, though. Freedom Boy.
At least give him a better salary. At least give him some money. At least pay them what they worth.
A limited amount of animes they gotta animate a year though. Like let's chill.
We're going to get into that because I actually we're going to get into something about that. Yeah.
But let's flip it back to the characters. Now I already said there was a couple characters this season that stood on business. We already talked about Levi. Levi did his thing, and I'm glad he got to finish his mission. I'm glad that he did not return to the island and he just got to chill. He got to sit down and he got to chill.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, he wasn't a part. I'm glad that he wasn't a part of like the peace group that they tried to make up, or he didn't go back over there and they tried to make him explain nothing. Like, let that man rest.
What's so funny, out of all the people that survived, even though he's the badass, the coldest fighter, all of that, I'm still surprised he survived. I'm still surprised.
I already know why he survived. If I was to drop down in Attack on Titan right now, if I closed my eyes and woke up in Wall Maria right now, I have to be an Ackerman. I have to. There is something There is something about those Ackermans that they can make it through anything. Mikasa and Levi are so cold, so smooth with that ODM gear. They were immune to that toxin that turned people into Titans, because it got to the end where that little centipede wiggly worm thing had started.
Not wiggly worm.
So that's not what it looked like.
It was wiggly worm, little centipede wiggly worm.
That Alaskan bull worm that detached from Aaron's head.
Look.
When they start doing that steam, and Levi figured out what was going on, he was like, we got to go now. Like, Mikasa, Pete, Falco, we have to go now. And they were like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Ackermans are immune. Titans and Ackermans are immune to this. And I had to pause it, and I was like, yo, there are so many things that you guys are immune to. Like, I know why you guys are immune to it, but it's like, y'all make it through anything. Like, if I wake up in Attack on Titan right now, I have to be an Ackerman.
Y'all are Titans without being Titans, honestly. Like, they got the deadliness of a Titan, essentially.
Honestly, like, I know why, like, the Ackermans are just, like, tough. There is a real reason other than plot armor that the Ackermans get down like they get down. But like, I have to be one. That's the only, and they nailed that in heavily throughout this season. That is something about them Ackermans. It's something about them. They might get cut up. They might get scratched. Levi got damn near blown up.
Lost a leg.
Blown to smithereens.
Layers of skin.
And he still came out on the field and cut Zeke up. It's something about them Ackermans. It's something about them.
That man went against one of those, was it a Jaw Titan
he went against
reincarnate?
Yes.
And toe it up with a broke leg. The man was missing a leg, bro. And went toe to toe. Toe to toe. Not, I'm sneaking you and getting you back on your nape. No, toe to toe. Throwing blows.
Mikasa, you talking about Levi, when they was inside, like, the rib cage, when she was trying to get Connie and them out, Mikasa was fin to throw down. It had to be about 20 of them Titans in there. She was gonna get through 10 of y'all before she realized that she didn't got through 10 of y'all.
And that's the craziest thing ever, bro.
It's something about them Ackermans. But Levi is number one to stand on business. Number two, Eren Yeager. Eren, Mr. Stand on Business Yeager.
What is Eren? Because he's not the hero. He's not an anti-hero. He's not even a villain anymore. And he's not an anti-villain. What kind of character is Eren?
The complex is all I have to say.
Basically.
Like, to get down to it, to really put the nail in the coffin of what Attack on Titan is, you have to understand that Eren orchestrated all of this. Eren orchestrated all of this. And for him to get to the point where he just simplifies it down, it's just like, I wanted to do it. and I was going to be the villain. So y'all can come out as the heroes. And when you really look at it, it's like it's not that simple, my boy.
Let's
Because
here's the thing.
I get it. Like I understand your reasons of doing the rumbling. But then it's like genocide, my guy.
It's the fact that he called himself stupid, and it like, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode or the whole series and binge it to truly appreciate it, because Aaron said all of that and acknowledged he was a piece of crap, acknowledged he was stupid, had lofty goals, but my dude, you destroyed 80% of the population. Like, I don't think enough people heard that part.
Bro, he
This
did
man
worse than
destroyed 80.
Thanos. When he said I did
He,
80%, I said this man did worse than Thanos. Folks was in shambles because of what
80
Thanos did.
80% of the population, whether good or bad, whether young or old, whether male or female, all for the sake of 300 LD and Paradise citizens, for at most 1,000, at most.
And they came back from it. And it took them a minute. But they came back and got their lick back. My thing is that I think Aaron's anger and his reasoning is valid. Like, once you find out the real reason of why they're on this island, where these titans are coming from, where his powers even come from, like this in the grand scheme of things, your anger is valid. But 80%?
Like, bro, that quite literally sets y'all back hundreds of years when it comes to technological advancement. It sets you back hundreds of years of all the resources. Y'all walk through mountains, bro. Y'all destroyed fields, resources. There are some people on one end of the earth who are just like, oh my gosh, we almost fell into this river. Now what?
Yo.
Like, I have no home, I have no farmland, I have nothing. And you showed all these folks on paradise doing what they doing.
My thing is that out of the 80% of people that he has killed, less than 1% of them actually know what's going on. Less than 1% actually know why this is happening. Everybody else is just walking outside and seeing giant titans stomp on folks.
Exactly, bro. Let me take this toy away from my cat. You ain't finna be interrupting my episode. But this stuff is crazy, bro. This stuff is crazy.
He stood on his business, though. I think he started, and then I don't even know when he realized it. He probably realized that this was the wrong thing to do before he actually even started. Like, the way that with him having the founding titans powers and like the past and the future and the present all exist at the same time, it's no telling what was going through that man's head. But it's kind of like, for you to realize what's going on and just continuing to go through it, that's standing on business to the fullest. I don't agree with genocide, but he said he stood on his business. He stood on his business.
And that's what you got to give him credit for. Like, he had his goal, he set his resolve, and he said, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I know I'm going to hell for it. I hope that it helps my friends, but I'm just doing it. It's the only thing I can do.
He said, I just wanted to do it. Why? Mm-hmm. Why? He said, I just wanted to do hood rat shit with my friends. Basically. That's basically all he had. Like, when it really came down to it on that conversation between him and Armin, he was basically like, I just wanted to do it. Like, given all the facts, given everything that I know is going to happen, what will happen, what I've done, what I will do, I just wanted to do it.
Like, all of y'all would have gotten killed. It was either I kill majority of the planet, or I kill y'all, my dear friends, and I don't want to kill y'all. I'm gonna save Connie's mom. I'm gonna help John out. I feel bad for what's her face, Sasha. I feel bad for her, but it was either a couple of y'all gotta die or all of y'all gonna die, and I want to save y'all.
He started talking about Sasha. He was like, everything was fine, and then Sasha died, and somebody else. See, he mentioned somebody else died, Hanji, and he was like, and then he just realized like the whole plan was going on. But even then, you have to give it to him that he saw it through. Despite everything that was going down, despite all the friends that he was losing or he knew he could lose, he stood on his business. Eren said the only way y'all are going to stop the rumblings that y'all gonna have to kill me. And he stood on that.
And it makes you think like this ending, it wasn't not in terms of quality, but in terms of theme, it wasn't a good ending and it wasn't a bad ending. It was just complex. It was just very complex.
It's Attack on Titan is very war focused, and there's a saying like there's no winners in war.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you see it, there are no winners in war. Like, yeah,
exactly.
You saved the island from all of these years because now there's 20% of humanity left. They don't have the resources nor the manpower to go overseas and come handle y'all for what Eren did. Like when we were rolling through the end credit scenes, they had futuristic skyscrapers and planes and shit before they came back and got their lick back. But then at the same time, they came and got their lick back. So did you?
But then at that point, it probably wasn't even a lick back at that point. It was probably a completely unrecognizable nation at that point. That's expanded into other civilizations and expanded their territory.
I just don't feel like there's something that you let go. I don't feel like there's something that you let go.
Here's the thing. Hatred does get passed down, but I mean, let's look at world history from a few hundred years ago, the Roman Empire. Roman Empire hate ain't really just carried over. All the races and groups and tribes and the European nations and all that ain't really just carry over. Some of it did, like the French, but most of it, we kind of just hear.
I would just say the stakes of what it is. I would just say this. 80% of humanity on the other side is done. And you got this sole island thriving, living, and they the reason why some people grew up a certain way while you grew up. You don't know how they living. Like they could just be, multiplying just to build up an army. Like their purpose at this point may be building up an army. So the only thing instilled with you is that we got to go get these boys overseas.
But even with the way technology evolved, like the skyscrapers they showed, we talking 500 to 1,000 years of technological advancement. I'm sorry, at that point, your hate done turned into something else. You don't hate them because of what Eren did. You hate them because they're warmongers doing this and that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I feel you. And that can go into like a theory of like, how does Paradis actually, present themselves after the rumbling?
Mm-hmm.
Because we see at the end is that, they turned the Jaegerists into like a military just in case, the 20% try to come over and start some shit. And they get this new motto, and they're really living and thriving on the fact that Eren, stood on business and did his thing so we can, stop being attacked by Titans. Like we can live,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they, that culture kept living on. Do they keep because the thing at the end of Attack on Titan, I just thought about this. Let's play on this for a minute. The thing that happens at the end of the credits for Attack on Titan is that the cycle starts over. You got the little boy and the dog, and they end up going inside the tree, which is the same type of tree that Ymir went in, where she got the founding Titan's powers. So the cycle starts over. If we want to rewind to how all this stuff started in the first place, it was because the Eldians was dominating. Like they, we big top Eldians with these Titans, and we finna dominate. We either going to dominate you into submission to work for us, or you're going down because we got all these Titans. And I can only think of like maybe a cycle of history where Paradis has now trampled over 80% of humanity, and now they're the big wigs. And you have to think about how that type of attitude can be passed down through generations and how they present themselves to people. So you could be exactly right. 1,000 years go forward, and it's not even about Eren. It's not about the Titans no more. It's just that these boys over here on this island,
they jerks.
Right. But if we rewind into history, that's where it initialized.
It's what our grandparents said. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Like, at the end of the day, people are going to be people. And the thing about Eren is, like, you killed 80% of the population, bro. Hatred is going to exist. At the end of the day, hatred will always exist. War will always exist. You could have just attacked Marley. You could have summoned like 10 of those rumbling titans and only destroyed Marley.
Hey.
You could have just attacked Marley.
Or just took their titans.
You could have just got John and all of them, eat Reiner, eat the cart titan, eat the rest of them.
And y'all could have had the titans. They would have had no defenses. They would have had no reason to go back over there.
You could have just kidnapped all the Eldians and say, we're going to re-educate y'all, even if y'all don't agree with it. We're going to bring y'all back to parity, and y'all just going to sit here.
Honestly.
You could have did that.
Honestly.
And destroyed Marley.
Honestly. Which they did do at the beginning of the season, but we got to take it a step forward. We got to take another step.
Like, there were better choices, and Eren got it right. He's stupid. I didn't like Eren before he became an aggressive nut job. An aggressive adult nut job Eren was cool, but he was right. He kind of stupid.
I think I honestly feel like there were other ways around it. And what I wanted to say, I was going to let you finish. I like the fact that they acknowledge that the conflict doesn't end with us stopping the rumbling, us stopping Eren, and can't nobody turn into Titans no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying this before, like, this is not a good ending, and this is not a bad ending. This is like an in-between type thing. Like, yeah, we got rid of the Titans. Like, the rumbling is done. We got rid of Eren. But it's like the conflict not over.
It's complex.
And I like that they acknowledged it. I like they just didn't make it, everybody lives in peace, era of peace. Like, nah.
It makes you want to get like real philosophical. Like, is world peace achievable? Or should you only aim to have your own personal peace, whether it be temporary or fleeting or only exist for a time frame? Because if I was Eren, I would just been like, hey, y'all got to figure it out after I die. But these last 3 years of my life, yeah, me and Mikasa finna go live in a house on the hills. That's what I would have picked.
Honestly.
I'm selfish. I'm sorry. I would have got me and my homies. We'll be growing apple trees, planting, farming,
living out
whatever.
The last 4 years of my life, and that's crazy too. I would never want to be a Titan, ever. I turn into a Titan. Mm-hmm. The only thing you have to tell me is I have 13 years to live. If I was a Titan, I have to be a Titan in this scenario. That when they kill Eren, I get my life back. I don't have to turn into no Titan no more. I get my life back. That's the only condition of when I would want to be a Titan. I would not want to be a Titan
when I'm like 60 years old.
I cannot be a Titan where y'all giving me 13 years to live, and I cannot be a Titan illegally. And when I mean by illegally, like the other Ymir from, like, I got this Titan, I'm not supposed to have it, and y'all gonna get me, turn somebody else to a Titan, then they gotta eat me. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be no Titan. But we've talked about a couple things. We've talked about the Homecoming, the home team for right now, but let's talk about the guys from Marley. How did you feel about Reiner's performance, Annie, Peak, Gabby, Falco, and the rest of them?
Still dislike Gabby. Falco got his time to shine. I didn't really care about him much as a character anyway. Reiner was my favorite for the first few seasons. And then I was like, you jerk off. But now I'm glad he got that scene with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he was able to fight to redeem himself, because let's not act like he didn't go through like bipolar disorder for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Like he went, like Reiner has went through a lot. Yes, he was on the attacking side, but Reiner went through a lot. Saw a lot of death, and I'm really glad that we were able to see him at least be redeemed. It was either he dies or he gets redeemed, and it was a good redemption. Who else? Pete. She had her time to shine.
Hey, Peak MVP for me. Out of the list of MVPs, especially that last episode, because we always saw the cart Titan as like transport. Like, put this thing on your back and take it here.
Mm-hmm.
Put this thing on your back and take it there. And so, John is...
She jumping out that thing like she got a parachute.
She went cannonball. She was like, if you think that I ain't meant to be on the field, think again. The way she was zipping out, them cart titans, every time they got caught up, I said, you're MVP for this.
Like, she was going crazy.
I ain't never back-to-back transformations.
The only person who really did that was Aaron, and he had multiple titans in his blood at that point.
She did it
when he was going against the Warhammer.
She did it with one. She was like, oh, they got me. Oh, they got me
again. And then popping out that thing so fly, hitting a couple of backflips, and then changing again.
Cannonball, like, I was like, you're MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You're MVP. She stood on business too. Like, when they was infiltrating, when they first got caught up, before everybody, decided to team up, when they had first got up, the way that she was infiltrating through the scout, through the Jaegerists, she was standing on business too.
She was cold. I gotta give her credit, like, for that to be like the most, I don't know, boring Titan, the most unattractive Titan. Yeah, like, she made it. She gave it a shine.
The attack Titan is not like the rest of them. It's just like, okay, I can see, like, what y'all trying to do with this. I thought Zeke thing was ugly until that cart Titan popped up, and I said, whoa.
And it was talking all types of funny looking. Now, and kind of talking to MAPPA, y'all got us with that trailer where we thought Mikasa had wings.
Y'all
got us with that.
They got us.
Y'all had fans. I saw on theories about Ackermans can fly and maybe they got wings. Y'all got them.
Whole time is Falco with wings. Now we'll give Attack on Titan this, the evolution of the Titans through the years, because when they were fighting the generations of Titans, none of them Titans looked the same. Not one jaw Titan looked the same. Not one female Titan looked the same. Not one when Reiner was fighting all those crazy. Right, when the Reiner was fighting all those Warhammer Titans, none of them junks looked the same.
I ain't gonna cap. This one also made Warhammer Titan look the coldest, because when they start pulling out them swords and everything, I was like, hey, I think that'll be the Titan I'd want. That'll be the Titan I'd want.
Pete was running to throw that dynamite around Aaron's neck, and that Warhammer Titan snuck up behind. I said, "Ooh,
they cold. Y'all cold. Y'all cold."
But I think the thing about it though is that what makes them so like the generations, what make them so deadly, is the reason why they were Titans in the first place. Like, the whole thing was the Marleyans taking these Eldians and putting them in this special program to train them up to be Titans. They were basically trained as soldiers. So now, to put it frank, y'all super soldiers at this point. So, like, when it's time to get down, it's time to get down. Like, Aaron, like how you said it before, Aaron was getting down, but Aaron had like 3 Titans on him.
Mm-hmm. And the Attack Titan, Aaron was one of the few folks we got to see even utilize it to that degree, because it was always under Ymir's family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her descendants, they always had it. So Aaron was the first one to even take it to its limit for real. But these other Titans, they were getting pushed and pushed and pushed over the years, stacking up knowledge, stacking up battle tactics. Over time, just got better and better.
Like, that was crazy. And I was like, y'all can't fight all of them. All of them. And then with, I can't pronounce his name, so we're going to call him Bert for now. When he Bertolt, when he popped in with that Colossal Titan, yo. Annie, Annie gonna fight regardless. She gonna get down. She gonna get down regardless.
Annie is Marley's Mikasa, in all honesty. That's the closest they're gonna get to her.
Like, she had, and this just goes back to my fact with character development. She had more character development than Mikasa.
You're right. You're right. I mean,
you can't tell me I'm wrong.
Listen. She was frozen.
I have never hated Annie. Ever.
She was frozen in a rock for was it even 3 seasons? Was it 4 technically? Was it 3 seasons?
It's like 3.5. Because when the rumbling started, that's when she got unfrozen.
She was frozen for like 3 seasons. And we got to see her evolve with her family and her love and hatred for her parents, her emotions with the Marleyan Empire. We got to see how she developed some feelings for Armin because she always heard him talking, and she was like, "Ooh, this little sweet boy." We got to see her, like we saw her develop appreciation for Paradise, but not necessarily get a bipolar disorder like Reiner. Like we got to see a lot with Annie for us to not see much.
I think I would say this though, between Reiner and Annie, I think they had to give him that death. Just because what would push you to, team up with everybody at the end? If you was truly down for the cause, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Cause you knew what side Pete was on. She was on it till the end. She was like, "I wish I could have talked to this Aaron guy." Like legit.
She was like, "I wish he was in my head, girl." No, you don't.
She was on business the entire time.
I would say, because when season 4 started, I know I ain't the only one who looked at Gabby, Falco, and the rest of them kids and Marleyan was like, "Who the fuck are y'all?"
Like Gabby came in, we don't like you,
I
and
don't
then
like
it's
Gabby.
like,
now
we still don't like you.
I'll give Gabby this. She don't miss.
She got that pistol. She got that shot off.
Gabby don't miss.
She a sharpshooter. We'll give her that.
Gabby don't miss. But we don't like you though. You ain't have to do that to Sasha. But Gabby don't miss.
Still don't like her though.
No. I won't say I won't say that I deeply despise her character. I just didn't care too much about it. I honestly didn't care about none of them folks over there. I understand why they had to be introduced. But I didn't care about none of them folks over there. I don't really even care about Falco for real. Like, you came in clutch. You got them wings and came in clutch. But
that was your only relevance. Like, you and Gabby's little love story was like a little side love story. That didn't really... I would want to meet a Gabby or Falco fan, because why are you a fan? Like, what did you see that made you go, "Oh my gosh, I like them," aside from like shallow, scratch the surface character development?
I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to... I just feel like they were just trying to show the point of view coming from... Because before season 4 started, majority of Attack on Titan was from the island's POV.
Mm-hmm.
And we really didn't start diving into why Annie, Reiner, and all of them were doing what they were doing, where they came from, until we really stepped into season 4. So then you started to see the Marleyan's POV, or the Eldians that were still on Marley's POV of things, how they saw the world. And it was... what was interesting to me, even though the characters and their stories really didn't stick with me, what was interesting to me is how they saw the Titans. Like, we've been on this island the whole time, seeing the Titans as villains, as these monsters. And, we've been fighting for our lives day and night against these Titans. We get over to the other side, and being a Titan is an honor. Like, they passing out visas because your kid is one of the 9 Titans.
Or punishment when they want to just put some blood in you and you don't inherit a period.
Raw.
Yeah.
That's the raw Titans though.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So like if your child but even then, they saw Titans that either is, you big shit or punishment. Them folks on the island, they just live in Five Nights at Freddy's over for 40 days and 40 nights.
Wondering why we can't keep our homes
That's
outside
what I'm saying.
of the third wall.
Like this is like demons. Like, as demons are to Demon Slayer, the Titans are to the island. While we go overseas and turn into a Titan is a punishment. Like, they just ship you overseas, turn you into a Titan, and call it a day. Like, that's all y'all know about it. Other than that, one of your folks, one of your family members or whatever is one of the 9 Titans. And y'all got visas. But that's what I really liked about... if I had to give that first part of that season anything, is just to show the differences of how these different sides see this conflict and how they see the Titans. Because it really came into play when the rumbling started, because that was like, y'all got to put these beliefs behind, or y'all got to put these to the side, or you just got to understand that some of the stuff that you grew up learning is not true.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to form your own type of opinion right now or what you're gonna do in this situation.
But that's why Attack on Titan, I'll give it this. It's a beautiful war story. Because when you look at history, that's how war is. Most people go to war because of whatever propaganda that their country taught them. It's not because of their genuine values or like what means the most to them. Most people, the same things mean the same thing to. Most people have the same few things: family, friendship, romance, and whatever their belief system is. That's usually it. You go to war because someone fed it to your head that it's necessary and that someone else is evil. Not to get into politics. But that's a beautiful war story because that's what it is. That's what you saw came to fruition. Why are we fighting? I don't know. Our country said we supposed to.
Why they was fighting was for a made up story. That's the part that got me. All this stuff was made up.
But if you look at history, that's how it is. Let's look at another show that did it well. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Remember when Aang went into the Fire Nation? And they're learning about how Ozai was basically the savior of all mankind, and he's Fire Flaming Jesus.
Yeah, not
you
Fire
see what I'm
Flame
saying?
Jesus.
Fire Flame Jesus, like that's what he was.
But that's a true juxtaposition though, because if we want to look at the rest of the nations as the island, Fire Nation are the villains. We get to the Fire Nation and it's like, oh,
we're the heroes.
Oh, we're here for the Avatar is the villain. Like what? The people on the island, the people on the island are the villains. What? We grown up our whole lives thinking we was the only people on Earth existing ever. Until we went to the beach and found out that it's more y'all. Like we get at a what?
And these folks are so disconnected. In all honesty, if Marley just kidnapped all of them on horseback and in tanks, they would have been scared, but they could have just became citizens, and Paradise would literally just be a Titan cesspool. Like, legit. They could have took those folks out, and they probably would have joined Marley, and none of this would have happened. It would still be evil, but none of this would have happened. But that's how war is. Like, it's a beautiful war tale. It's a beautiful war tale. That's what Attack on Titan is.
Definitely. But let's move into. So we talked about season. Well, we've maneuvered through a couple different topics, but let's move into Attack on Titan as a series. Do you feel like Attack on Titan is a goated anime, or do you feel like it's just been milked for too long?
This is where I pissed some people off. Y'all milked the hell out of this and it made me not appreciate this episode as much. Yes, I can sit here and talk to my dear friend Foop about how good this episode was, but I will be completely honest. It is hard for me to appreciate it to the way that I should because y'all made me wait 3 months? 4 months? 5? How long was it?
The last episode came out in March. So what's that?
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8. Y'all made me wait 8 months for an episodic series to see the ending. And this wasn't like
8 months.
This wasn't the beginning to an ending. Here's the analogy I'll make, Foop. You know how when you get in a video game and they be like, this is the place of no return. You will not be able to do side missions and side quests once you get to this part of the game.
Yeah.
We did that in the last episode. Y'all took us to the final level.
I
paused it, didn't let us play the game for 8 months. And it kind of messed it up for me. Love the series. But now this series could not get the love it could have if y'all did it right, in my opinion. Now we got to binge it.
I think that because I want to do the same thing that you stated earlier. I would want to sit down and watch Attack on Titan from beginning to end. Because now I can get like the information consistently. I can see the action and the plot twists and the revelations happen consistently. Instead of, getting the episode and then waiting 8 months and then getting the final episode. I think if we take away from the fact that how long we've had to wait, I think Attack on Titan is goated.
It's a great franchise and it's definitely going down in history, but as a seasonal series, they did the series wrong.
As a seasonal anime, the way that this final season was handled was crazy. Where you give us some episodes, another set of episodes, and what was it, like 3 movies? 2 movies?
Like 2 movies, which are basically 3 episodes each.
So like the way that you guys have done this final season, I would agree. It's taken to me. I'm still going to watch it regardless. We said this on the episode, and I'll say it again today. We were still gonna watch it, but
Still gonna watch it.
still kind of takes away the hype factor when it's spaced out like this.
And then it's also like maybe they didn't see this coming, but I'm like, bro, I was going through our backlog on follow the Blerd Mob on Instagram. Hell's Paradise, Bleach Part 1, Part 2, One Piece Gear 5. What was the other animes that dropped this year? Mashal, which was highly anticipated. Then Invincible, American Cartoons came back. There's been so much back-to-back peak. And the final half of the final level of this video game, y'all made us wait 8 months. I'm sorry, but the hype died. Because I'm going to be real with you. I saw more tweets on Twitter, and Twitter's not real, whatever. I saw more tweets about people saying, why aren't we talking about Attack on Titan than people actually talking about it? And Attack on Titan deserves better. It deserves better.
I think if I was to sit down and watch it from beginning to end, in my eyes, it's goated. The plot twist,
yes,
the revelations, everything that went down, like everything, like the whole conflict of the war and how the Titans got started, and the lore itself, I would say is goated. I think it really just lost its flame with the way that this final season was handled. Because I think if it would have been consistent, and we just kept getting these back-to-back episodes every week leading up to this point, and even then, if you guys still wanted to make this last episode an hour 30, like you did, that would have been fine, but it would have been consistent. It would have been, we got this episode a week before, and now here's the finale. Here's the mission of no return. An hour and 25 minutes. Sit down. This is it.
Exactly, because I'm watching it. I'm having to remember what happened. Oh, yeah, they were jumping out the plane, and the old dude who was driving it had to figure out what he was going to do if it's emergency land. I was like, oh, yeah, that is where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't deserve that.
Like, 8 months really gives anybody time to catch up to Attack on Titan. Versus the people who've been sitting here for 10 years. 8 months is ample enough. I caught up to Attack on Titan in maybe like 2 months.
It took me about a month, yeah. But when there's so much other heat releasing at the same time, who's going to sit here and rewatch all that when there's 5 other series?
I feel you.
6 other amazing let's not talk about the video games that came out this year.
I feel you.
This was a great year for nerds. Nerds, we eating. Star Wars spinoffs, come on now. Whether they were good or bad, they were still here. 2023 was a loaded year for entertainment, bro. And Attack on Titan made us wait 8 months.
I agree. I don't think if you wanted to space it out, that's cool. I have no issue with, like, you give us an hour 30 here, but I would agree. I don't think the break should have been 8 months. I don't think it should have I don't think we should have had to wait 8 months to get to the end of the series.
Honestly, this special and the last special should have been its own season, and they should have just been 6 episodes. If y'all was going to do anything. Because once you got to the point where Hanji dies and they're attacking Eren, that was the final phase. That is the final phase.
Yeah.
Nothing after that.
Basically, once you get on this plane, this is the final mission. Please collect all of your resources, up your skill points, your weapons, your gadgets before stepping on the plane.
Complete all side quests because you may not be able to access some of them after.
You will not be able to exit out of this mission. I know, I feel you. But Or they could have just made a season 5. They could have ended. I don't know how anybody would have felt about this. And, if you're watching, leave us a comment or whatever. What if season 4 had ended with Eren starting the rumbling, and then season 5 would have been a consistent set of episodes that led us to the end?
That's what I wanted. Like, in retrospect, that's what I would have wanted. The rumbling starting. Great way to end it. Now the reactions, House Paradise, how they falling apart, arguing with each other on set. Everybody else, Gabby shooting no, because rumbling started after Gabby got that bullet off. Everything after that, yes. Make that one season, allow us to indulge. That would have been like 2 to 3 months worth of entertainment.
Yeah.
Consistent. Allow the anime community to indulge. Like just from a community anime normie who don't rewatch series like that. That would have been a greater experience. I'm gonna rewatch it, but still
I'm
though,
gonna
you know what I
rewatch it.
mean?
I definitely feel like everybody, unless you got something else to do or something else to watch, or you're just not that person who wants to sit down and rewatch animes. But I definitely think at this point everybody should sit down and rewatch Attack on Titan just to like fully
Mm-hmm.
engulf it at this point, like
Mm-hmm.
really from start to finish, and really like understand, because like there are some pieces in the last episode where it's kind of like you have to remember some things that happened 8 months ago, or even like further than that when they first started airing season 4. And I kind of feel like if we were a bit more consistent in like the releases and everything, because I had to watch it again, I had to rewatch it to catch like some of the things that were going on. And it's like, okay, oh yeah, because he has the founding titan, he can do this or he can do that, or because he has the attack titan, he can do this.
Exactly. But to fully answer the question, it is goated. This is an anime slash manga franchise that I feel like in a 2 to 3 years we will see its impact on the industry, and we'll see what franchises have taken influence from it.
Yeah.
Like we see that with Bleach and a lot of series, and how many of them are like Bleachified now. Like I feel like Attack on Titan, more realism, a unique art style that isn't an anime cliche
and
art style with the spiky hair.
and there's no heroes or villains. Like everybody was doing shady stuff. Like even the people who we would consider the good guys, like Armin. Let's just get down on Armin. Like Armin is all for like, we gonna save whoever we can, or we're gonna do this the right
Mm-hmm.
way. Let's find another way. Let's think this through. Like being the brains of the operation. But when Armin activates that colossal titan, that boy is a nuke at best.
He's a bomb.
He's a bomb. The way he just, when they went to Marley and he just, electric shock and blew up the whole port, and it's like, my guy.
He's like, Bertolt, is this how you felt? Man, how do you feel? You the one who just did it.
That one I'm
You
just saying,
did
like,
it.
there are no good guys in Attack on Titan. There are no good guys. You have sides. That's all you have is sides. You got yams and mac and cheese. Like, there are no good guys in Attack on Titan.
And that's why a lot of people think Attack on Titan is a seinen when it's really a shonen. Like usually franchises that are geared towards adults, young adults, are the ones that tackle these complex things. But this is a shonen. It's geared towards teenage boys, surprisingly enough. And it did something great. I want to know if other shonen are going to take this, take influence from this.
I want to know how many errands are going to pop up after this. Because like how you said it in the beginning, like he's not a protagonist. He's not an antagonist. He's not an anti-hero. Like, what is he at this point? How many more characters are we going to be like? How many what are you characters are we going to get after Attack on Titan?
Exactly. Like, there are other franchises like, Parasite and Maxim that kind of like tackle those complex themes, but they're not overly popularized shonen. Like, you don't see that often. And like for this to be like a Western like masterpiece, like this is one of those animes that everybody in the West knows about. Dragon Ball, Naruto, Attack on Titan, you're going to hear one of those names come up. Yeah. It solidified itself. So I'm eager to see like who's going to take influence from this.
Definitely. But we're getting close to our time, Ron. Is there anything else you want to discuss as far as Attack on Titan?
Levi's still the GOAT. He's still my favorite character. Always being 100.
Levi did his thing. I think Mikasa is still my favorite character. One last thing I gotta say. Even though I just talked massive shit about Mikasa and how she has no character development, don't get it twisted. I do feel bad for her. 100%. I feel bad for her. 100%.
And we still like her as a character. It's just
She my number one. But the reason why I feel bad for her though is that once we get, our heads wrapped around the fact that she really does like Eren, the fact that he set up and told you that you're a slave and he hates you, and then goes into your head and makes this fake scenario that y'all have lived together in peace for 4 years, made you forget it until he died, then you have to grapple with the fact that the person that you loved is dead, and that the thing that you've been fighting for this whole time is done. Like, think of like all the things that you have to sit there and grasp with the reality that you have to deal with this point, when the two things that you have dedicated your life to are out the picture. There's no more survey cores, no more Aaron. There's no reason for you to fight. There's no reason for you to suit up, use some blades, use some superhuman Ackerman techniques that you got. You have no reason.
And ladies, y'all thought y'all exes were toxic. Get you an Aaron.
Get you an Aaron who makes a fake scenario in your head that y'all have lived together for 4 years, makes you forget it. Then you have to go and kill him. And then when you kill him, you remember living with him for 4 years. But then it's too late.
And has the nerve to cry to his homeboy and say, am I selfish for not wanting her to go talk to somebody else? Boy, what did you do for her?
Let me say this.
What did you do for her?
Let me say this. I'm so glad Armin punched him. I'm so glad that Armin rocked his shit. I'm so glad.
What?
Because for you to stand there and tell Mikasa to forget about me and throw it, you know damn well she's not finna throw that scarf away. Let's just put this out here.
Bro, she could get a whole new husband and have kids. She gonna keep that scarf around her neck.
She did get a whole new husband and kids and died with that scarf wrapped around her neck. Crazy.
Bro.
Aaron is the Tupac of Attack on Titan.
Mikasa Jada Pinkett. And she Jada Pinkett. Bro.
Yo. I saw that Jen on Twitter and I had to say it because I was like, yo. Think about this. Just think about it.
Yo. I can't cap.
They fast forward 3 years and she is still sitting at this tree by this man's tombstone.
Yo, bro. I ain't trying to be toxic, but if I had to choose between being Tupac or Will Smith, I want a girl to talk about me after death for years on end. Make your kids write me a letter.
Making her kids and grandkids go visit his grave. They don't know this man. That's not their granddaddy or their pappy. Why are we at this gravesite?
Yo, Mikasa Jada Pinkett, bro. Bro, make that the cover art. No. Bro, please. That's funny.
He said, please. No.
That's funny.
Yo.
Ooh wee. That's funny.
But yo.
That's funny.
I just had to get that off there. Even though I did just talk about Mikasa at the beginning of this episode, I do feel bad for her. To what that she has to deal with at this point.
Compared to everybody else, everybody else had a happy ending. Reiner got his mom. Armin got Annie.
Everybody had other stuff going on. And like Mikasa's whole two things is being an Ackerman in the Survey Corps, like being a badass. Like she had the skills, like that ODM gear, all of that stuff, them rockets, all of that slight work. And Aaron,
like girl,
that was her.
Like girl, do you like flowers? Do you like plays? Cooking?
Do you like cookies, cake? Like what else do you like to do? Because it seems like
Sasha, what's your favorite meat?
What's your favorite potato? Like, well, come on, like. We had but the only two things that Mikasa had going for is gone now. So that's going back to my John Wick reference that I don't think I really completed at the beginning of this episode. But that's like my whole John Wick reference. Like after John Wick finished fighting at the end of John Wick 4, he was done. Like there was nothing else for him to do at this point. And
except die.
Yeah, except die. But Mikasa didn't die, so it's how are you grasping with your emotions? Like you finally have the time to deal with the emotions happening inside of you right now. Like you finally have the time to fully express yourself. And how are you grasping with the reality that the two things that you went hard for, like Mikasa, the definition of Mikasa is Survey Corps and Aaron. Like you gotta erase that off the board. Like what's next?
Honestly, all she got is her friends for support. But let's just be honest, her friends got lives at this point. She got Armin kinda, and John and Connie, but they kind of got each other.
Well, the theory is that Mikasa marries John. That's what they said. I don't know how true that is.
That's, I mean, I guess y'all gotta prolong like LDN life and stuff, but that wasn't even out of friendship love. Like, ugh, ugh,
I
ugh,
don't know. I
ugh,
just had to put that out there that I do feel bad for my
ugh.
girl, but
She was done the dirtiest. She was done the dirtiest. Aaron should become the villain in her story, but she got too many
my
mental
thing is,
blocks to realize that.
my thing is, if I was Mikasa, the rumbling would have never happened because Aaron was gonna have to turn into the Attack Titan at that moment. Because I was gonna rock his shit. Like, what are you saying to me right now?
Like you said, what to me? I don't give a care if your hand bleeding.
He
You
was
seen the
he was
Titan I
gonna
killed?
he was gonna have to be like peak and like ramp up like 3 times. Like, it was gonna be so much.
Like,
It was gonna be so much going on. You would have forgot what was like. You would have forgot that you were supposed to be doing the rumbling. Like, the rumbling is happening right now. We finna rumble. We're about to tumble.
she should have cut his limb, stood on his chest, and said, "I dare you to turn into a Titan right now." After you just said that to me,
Now,
I dare you to turn into a
like
Titan.
for real. And that was the moment. And that's what I'm saying. Like, season 4 really hit like home for me that she really likes this man. Because I feel like in a brother sister relationship, like, yeah, you my brother, but you ain't finna tell you. I'm finna smack the shit out of you. Like Armin did. So if you want to compare like Armin and Aaron having like that brother relationship, Armin rocked his shit for saying that. And Mikasa just sat at the table, and I was like, okay, I see it. She really likes this man.
And that ending between Aaron and Armin was really good. I'll see you in hell, and we hugged it out. That was so like edgy and dark, but I rocked with it. I was like, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
We all going to hell. We're all going to burn. Like, I'm sorry.
He said, but he was just trying to take the blame for his friend. I feel even at the end they tried to take the pressure off of Aaron, because Armin tried to do like, I showed you the outside world. I gave you a taste of what's out there in the outside world, and because I gave you this taste, because we went to the beach and I showed you the seashell and I showed you all these things, it led up to you committing these actions. So in part, I am also to blame. Like, you not 100% of the blame. I'll take some of the blame with you, and we have slaughtered 80% of humanity.
Like, bro, 80% of humanity.
They did worse than Thanos.
Like,
he did worse than Thanos.
How many people on Earth right now? 7 billion? Like 7 billion, right?
Or yeah, it might be more than that now.
10% would be like 700 million. I think that's like one country. I think that's like the US.
Let me just say, Aaron cut up. He cut up.
Imagine if the US was the only civilization left on Earth right now.
We the island. And when the boys overseas come back up, we done.
That's crazy.
And this is why stuff like this don't exist in real life. This is why stuff like this don't exist in real life.
Let me just podcast in peace, and me and my friends plan our 2025 trip to Disney World. That's what I want to do. Like, we need to start talking about that. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. forget all this other crap. Forget let go all the war, the hatred. I don't care about none of that. I want to go to Disney World in 2025. That's what I want to do.
Yo.
In Universal.
But let's go ahead and shut this down because we went a bit over. But one, I appreciate.
You know how we do.
I felt like this was gonna go a bit over because it's just so much to talk about. It's so much to talk about. This is not our usual, season mob review. This is an entire series that we really have to sit down and pick apart for y'all right now. But I appreciate you, Ryan, as always, for joining me on an episode of the Blerd Mob podcast. For everybody who is listening, watching, has been watching, thank you. Whether this is your first time or 50th time listening, it is always appreciated. Make sure you guys follow us on social media. We're on Twitter at the Blerd Mob. We're on Instagram and Threads at the Blerd Mob Pod. And you can find us on Facebook and TikTok at the Blerd Mob Podcast. Make sure you guys check out the description for our affiliate link to Entertainment Earth. Get you guys some Funkos. I think they sell like other types of like statues, like collectibles and things like that. So make sure you guys check out Entertainment Earth for that. If you don't want to buy you something from Entertainment Earth, make sure you guys check out our Ko-fi link. That is strictly donations, and all of the funds and the donations that we get goes towards equipment, subscriptions, and everything that we use to give you guys this content. And with that being said, this is the mob checking out. Peace. Case is not about to have no games, and it's just steelbook.
They're already
game. They're
already doing that. There are collector's editions, discless games now. You want the statue in a nice box? Get it, and we'll send you a download code. Like,